Good morning, everybody. We're out here underneath this blazer, getting started. Part 2 of our part dos for the Spanish guys. Dos for our transmission. All right, so this is the first we're starting underneath it. We have to take those 4 bolts off for the drive shaft. Have your transmission drain pan ready for the action that's going to happen in the back. So when that drive shaft pulls out, it's going to leak fluid. So we're going to start by taking those off. Then we're going to take the transmission coolant lines off on the passenger side, and then we don't have speedometer cable. Our 4-wheel drive shifter linkage isn't hooked up. See, that's what you get for cutting corners. When you have to take it back apart again, it's that much easier, right? and we have our Bluetooth special front drive shaft, so we don't have to worry about taking that out. See, yeah. So there we go. We're going to start on this and I'll get right back to it. All right, so transmission coolant lines are 1/2 inch, and we ended up pulling them all the way out from the front right there at the radiator. So now they're out. We just got to keep at it. Now we're taking the torque converter bolts out. They're 9/16, and then you take a little screwdriver. I actually bought the tool, but I don't like it. I squirted a little bit of paint in there because it started to this rust reformer stuff. Actually, I got to get a little bit more area over there. I can't wait to go through someday and repaint it. So VHT or VVT, whatever it is, VHT, I think. Wow, that melted.
Which one is that?
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, there's not even a fuse in that, is there?
There is, but it's not hooked up.
These are his mortal enemy. These are his mortal enemy.
Yeah, torque converter bolts.
Torque converter bolts.
Put them, if you're not going to use them, put them in a baggie, save them, because there's like 500,001 different sizes. Because label those torque converter bolts. You'll learn to know them when you see them laying around, but they're getting to be a pain. So, yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, burnt rubber. Yeah, it's always. Then I'm gonna have to get. I got a lot of stuff to clean up here. I gotta get that off. I gotta get that off. That's the old muffler hanger, but we still got a couple of more bolts and stuff to go back through and tighten up. But my hitch isn't on. Somebody tried to take it off, and there's only 1.5 bolts holding that hitch on. But I have to drop the gas tank to get to it. So then, you know, all that good fancy stuff. So anyway, we're at it. Torque converter bolts. I mean, this is such a simple freaking job. I mean, it is simple dropping this transmission. And since half the bell housing bolts decided to go ahead and remove themselves from the chat, it's going to be that much easier. But basically, you can get to it without even getting up in there, because I'm 6'1", and this is chest high right here. So she's pretty high to get up into. This transmission jack from Harbor Freight, before we put these tires on, it installed this transmission. So hopefully it goes tall enough still to get this transmission out, and more importantly, the new one in, because gravity helps with getting the old one out. So we took the exhaust off. I mean, if we had the tools lined up and we were ready to go, Coda, what do you think, an hour?
45 minutes to an hour, give or take.
Yeah. This is a horrible setup here. I need to change over to crossover steering. I did end up ordering some new gauges. They're pretty nice.
They are awesome.
I don't know how to do that hoobly flobbly thing right here, but you know, it'd be cool if I could say, hey, there's a link right here, or hey, there's a link right here, but I don't know how to do all that testicle stuff yet. So anyway, okay, I ordered new gauges. This sure would look nice with some Rust-Oleum paint on it. I sure could paint that up real nice if I
would be even nicer.
If I had a nice sponsor.
Yeah, nice Rust-Oleum sponsorship. Hint.
I'd paint that bumper. But oh, you know what? I might try that VHT roll bar paint. That's what I might try on that. Okay. All right. So next update, you have to jack the transmission, the motor. We put a jack under the oil pan so that the motor doesn't fall down. And then it's a good idea too to take your distributor cap off because what can happen is, you know, if you take the jack out and forget, then the distributor cap would be resting against the firewall. You don't want that, because then it can cause all kinds of issues. So we have the Harbor Freight transmission jack in place. We're going to go ahead and take the cross member out, and then well, we leave the cross member together. It's more to hold by. So we'll take these 5/8, take them out. We're not going to do that next time. Everybody yelling and hollering about the transfer case drop, we won't do that again. So we leave the cross member in place. That way we got more to grab it by. So here we go. All right, so what we like to do is get this, we got this nice huge long extension here. This is called my bell housing bolt extension. Then you put a 9/16 and a swivel on there, and when you lower the transmission some, you can clearly see the bell housing bolt. There's one right there for this side, there's one right there, and there's one right there. So if you drop this transfer case a little bit, you don't even have to fight under the hood, because they're clearly visible right there. So that's what we like to do. Drop the transfer case or transmission. If it's two-wheel drive, just drop the transmission a little bit. We got this much gap here. So we're going to go ahead and take the bell housing bolts out, and then we'll be sliding this back to clear the headers, the ears of the transmission. Need to clear the headers, so we'll slide it back some and whoozy-whatsy, and maybe drop the motor just a little bit if we need to, but just a little bit of adjustments here and there, and she'll be out in no time. All right, everybody, there's a professionally removed Turbo 400. That tab's not in there. I wonder if that was a problem too. Is the tab stuck in the flex plate?
What tab?
All right, so we went to the pressure washer in town here, and pressure washed it as good as we could. I'm gonna have to do it by hand the rest of the way, I guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to wire it up as good as I can. I don't know if this is gonna be done before I end up leaving or not. I have to leave. I have to go. Well, we live in New York. I have to go out to Chicago and bring a shipment out to Massachusetts. So we'll see. I'm hoping to get it in or not. Oh, I could have got that little part there too, but I'm gonna go ahead and wire wheel it down, clean it up a little bit more, and then I don't know if this is gonna be the right one or not, but that's the hydraulic line they got figured out. This is the nice brand new master cylinder, so hopefully that this end probably screws into here, and then this goes to the master cylinder, but we won't get that till tomorrow. But nice brand new parts. Trying to get this project done as good as we can without spending $1 million on it. So I do have to I don't know, maybe that is as long as the Turbo 400. It didn't look it, but I'm gonna go ahead and paint it. I'm just gonna squirt some paint on it, and it ain't winning shows, but I just want it to be protected because I don't want all this to rust. So all right, check back with you. All right, here we go. Next step. This is the flex plate. You can see how much the torque converter was moving around. So we need to get this off, and I'm interested to see if there's any weights on the other side. Well, I guess there is. I gotta find out why this thing keeps loosening all these bolts. I'm hoping for some reason that's not balanced. I'm hoping by putting the clutch on there it will help it out quite a bit, but it's nice. So I got the new so I don't need my low car dipstick no more. We took the shifting linkage out that was right here. We don't need this air line anymore, so that comes out. We pulled the transmission coolant lines out, but next step is to get this off. So it's very hard to do without an impact, so we're going with this. Yes, I'm using my chrome socket. I'm going to be an outlaw here and zip these off. This is a 11/16 socket, and we'll get this off and go from there. I am going to probably punch that out. I'm not sure. I'll see if that throwout bearing's any good or not and check it out, and then we'll go from there. Alright, it's off. You can see my rear main seal is leaking. The whole oil pan gasket's leaking. Man, so much stuff is so much easier to do while this is out. I got a good seal on my intake. I'm glad to see that for sure. Was finally able to get that plug wire on. It wasn't on right before, so she's probably gonna run even better. But that's the oil pressure sensor right there. So, man, this stuff's so much easier to get done now, but I got to get this done. If I let it sit and wait, and that looks worn, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I got my tester. I'm gonna test that, but I can see that I got one starter bolt and one that is not. Actually, doesn't look like that needs to be. So anyway, it's good. I'm not going to mess with it, but I do got some oil leaks probably coming from my valve cover gasket, it looks like, up there. But there's the distributor. So much easier to get to right there. But if I end up pulling this motor out, it's not going back in, so the 6 liter's going in. So that's the point we're making here. But for now, I'm gonna hurry up and get that. I'm gonna test that to see if that's good or not. Okay. So with the clutch kit comes this little tool. It's just a plastic tool. I had to file some of the edges off because it wouldn't fit in the clutch disc. And I'll show you what this is for later. But this can also test if the pilot bushing's bad. There should be 0 gap in there. And there is. So now I gotta go get some bread and take that out, which is hard because we don't have any bread. So I have to figure out how to get that out. Literally, bread. We tested it because this is the new one we'll put in. But this old one here, for some reason, has like a ridge on it. It's only about that thick, but there's a ridge in there. But you can obviously tell just by looking at that that's the wrong size. So what we got to do is, what this does is this tool aligns the clutch when it's on the pressure plate with that. See how tight that fits? So that has to fit on there tight because this simulates the transmission shaft, which I'll show you later, and the splines on the clutch. And then that all has to match and it all has to bolt up. I'll show you later. Alright everybody, we got down to, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, looks good, huh?
Does? I like it.
I just threw yellow paint on it. Actually happened to be engine paint. Some stuff I had laying around. I was going to paint the engine with it. I'm kind of defeated right about now because I can't get that doggone pilot bushing out. So, and it's worn, it's old. So, I guess tomorrow I'm going to try a couple other tricks. The only thing that sucks is we got to leave out here pretty soon. So this whole setup I got to figure out where to put somewhere. And then transmission we got to get unloaded, put on the ground, get covered up. But that's about all we can get to for now. I was hoping to at least have it in. Still got to poke a hole in the floor over here. And but we got the pedal set up in. We just got to poke the hole there, which isn't that hard. You can see from underneath. So I could actually get underneath there probably with a jigsaw. But the third pedal assembly's all in, and we actually didn't get all the parts. We have some of them. I showed them to you earlier, which I got to get out of the truck and put in here so I know what goes to what. But this Turbo 400, the cool thing is that 77 Blazer right there originally came with a Turbo 400. So we're going to see if the transmission in it for now. It's a Turbo 350. But we got that motor in the garage over there that we need to put in there. That one, I got to finish up on that and get that dropped in so that way it's in there. I got a new flex plate for it somewhere, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, I got a flex plate for it. And then I got the bolts. I'm using the bolts from this one. So we'll get that 77 going. But after this is done, which who knows when that'll be, could be in a couple of weeks, This one's getting real bad. The rocker panel down there is getting real bad. So that's probably going to be our next project. There's the gas tank for the 77. I got parts strung everywhere. But I need to do one at a time. So, man, I love them tires on there. I don't know how they look on camera, but they look good. I love that they stick out here in the back especially. So, okay, that's about it for now. We're going to cover this up. Probably just throw a cover over it. We got plenty of tarps. Get this thing heave-hoed off the back. And since my helper has to work till we go YouTube famous, and then
life of the working man.
And, yeah, life of the working man. I might pull the bell housing off, put that in first, and then unbolt this maybe right there so that I can pick it up to put it on there. Yeah, I'll just heave that off there when it's time, and we'll be ready to go. But hopefully I'll get back on it soon. Do the right thing. Like, share, comment. Tell me what you guys think. Should I have taken more time and done this right? Or what?
Don't get it right. Get it running.
Yeah, don't get it right. Get it running. This thing's running.
Yes, she is.
Because that stupid drive shaft.
We're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about
We're not
that.
going to talk about that.
She's a good girl. Okay,
Good
bye.
girl.